Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am finally doing my fan casting for the Brotherhood of Mutants. And then later on I will do a video for Magneto and Professor X. Like I said, they need their own video. Plus, I'm going to have more than one actor for each character. So let's get right into the fan casting. So first on our list we have Blob. Blob is definitely a bully. He's always been criticized for his weight, so he in turn becomes a bully. I had a hard time trying to find an actor, honestly, to play this role. I know in X-Men Origins Wolverine, the actor had a fat suit, of course. Any actor for this role is probably going to need a fat suit or CGI or something. But I have Tyler Labine. He was in Tucker vs. Evil, Rise of the Planet of the Apes. He was Into the West. I've seen him in a few things, and I think he can be that bully type and also bring some sympathy to this character as well. Next we have Toad. Toad is a very sad and tormented and subservient character. He is another character that's been bullied and he doesn't really have the best self-esteem. I actually loved Ray Park's interpretation of Toad. I thought he was funny and he really embodied the character. I wish we got to see more of him. But for the MCU version, I have chosen to go with Keir Gilchrist. He was in It Follows, Dead Silence, and he plays the lead role in Atypical, a show that I actually have been watching. I think he definitely can play a sympathetic, kind of tormented, down on his luck type of character, but also, like I said with the Blob, bring like some heart to it where you can actually enjoy his character. And even though he's a villain, you kind of feel sorry for him and you do kind of like him. Next we have Pyro. Pyro is an Australian character. He's very cocky. He's very loudmouth. I have Luke Mitchell. He was in Without Remorse, Blind Spot. He was even in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. He is an Australian actor and he definitely has this bad boy vibe to him in some of the roles that I've seen him in. So I do think he could pull off this role of Pyro. I want to see Pyro in more of a dominating role. Yes, he was in the Fox X-Men movies, and I think they did okay with him, but I feel like they kind of fell off with him in Last Stand. They built him up so well in X-Men United, and then they kind of let his character kind of fall to the wayside. So I definitely want to see more Pyro. Next we have is Juggernaut. Juggernaut is also a bully, but he also has this internal struggle within. He's definitely an anti-hero. He does have moments in the comics where he does fight alongside with the X-Men. He's not just this one-dimensional, I'm the Juggernaut and I can smash anything type of character. There's so much more to Juggernaut and the hurt that he has had in his life. And this actor that I picked, he has been in a lot of movies. He's usually the comic relief. Even in American History X, even though he played a racist, he still was the comic relief. And over the past few years, he's actually gotten into lifting, and so he's a very fit, strong guy, and that is none other than Ethan Stupely. He was in Remember the Titans. He came on My Name is Earl, which I loved him in. As I said, he was in American History X. He was in Blow. He was the bully from the great show from my childhood, Boy Meets World. So I would love to see him in the MCU, and I think he would be great at bringing this character to life. He has the build, and I think he has the acting ability to pull off some of the emotional sides of Juggernaut. Next we have Rogue. I loved Rogue in the 90s X-Men cartoon series. And I actually have two actresses for this role as well. Rogue is definitely someone insecure, especially as a teen. She longs to be loved, and with her ability not being able to have physical touch with someone, you see that sadness within her. And the first actress I actually have for her is Alexandra Daddario. I've actually seen some fan cast pictures of her as Rogue, and she actually does look great in the suit. And the darkness of her eyes, I feel like she can give off that intensity of being such a complex character as Rogue. She was in Baywatch, she was in Percy Jackson, The Lightning Thief, True Detective, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the 2013 version. I really think she could pull this off. She was actually the first person that came to my mind when I was thinking of Rogue. The second person that came to mind was Coco Jones. She is a Disney sweetheart. She was in Let It Shine, Good Luck Charlie, Vampires versus the Bronx, and recently she is in the revamped version Bel Air. She is another person I want to see in the MCU so bad, and I think she also has that intensity, and I think she has the charm to pull off playing Rogue. She's also a Southern belle. She's from Columbia, South Carolina, so she should have no problem with the accent. Sometimes you can hear the accent come out when she's doing interviews or just having fun, and oh gosh, I would really love to see her as Rogue. Next we have Sabretooth. I actually loved Liev Schreiber's take on Sabretooth. I think he was probably the best thing outside of the opening scene of X-Men Origins Wolverine. Liev Schreiber, I've never seen him do any bad acting. I think he is great. He was wonderful as Sabretooth, and you can tell he was definitely having fun with that. With that being said, trying to go with a younger crowd here, and actually I think his brother, Pablo Schreiber, would be great at playing Sabretooth. He is recently in the TV series Halo and Candy. He was in American Gods. He was in Den of Thieves, 13 Hours. He has been in quite a few movies, and I've seen him in some of these roles. And he definitely has the physicality to play Sabretooth. He can bulk up a little bit more. He's not as big as his brother, but I'm pretty sure he can bulk up even more. But I definitely think he could bring that intensity and kind of that ferocity that Sabretooth requires. Next, we have Emma Frost. Now, Emma Frost, she was in the Fox X-Men movies. She was played by two different characters, and neither one of them, I think, did her justice. One made her very sweet and very nice. The other one was just very flat, and I love January Jones, but she was just very flat, and I don't think she maybe understood the character of Emma Frost. She's very cunning and charming. She's charismatic as well as ruthless, and she's also kind of that anti-hero because she also joins up with the X-Men and even falls in love with Scott, and they end up getting married. I could only think of one person who could play her. She's actually played similar roles in other projects, and that is Natalie Dormer. She was in Game of Thrones, The Tudors, Penny Dreadful. You know who I'm talking about. She definitely can be cunning. She definitely can be ruthless. She can be very charismatic. If you watch her in The Tudors, how she talks to Henry VIII, I see Emma Frost in that. But again, she also has this heart to her, and I definitely feel like she would kill this role. Next, we have Mr. Sinister. He was definitely set up in the Fox X-Men movies, and unfortunately, or fortunately, we never got that storyline. It was in an end credit scene, but nothing was ever done with it. Sinister, he's a brilliant scientist. He's very determined. He actually kind of reminds me of Harrow from Moon Knight. And actually, Ethan Hawke wouldn't be a bad actor to play that, but he was already in the MCU in a major role. So my pick for Mr. Sinister is Michael Shannon. He was in Nocturnal Animals, The Iceman. He was in Knives Out, Premium Rush. But it was his role in Man of Steel as Zod that definitely conveyed to me that he could pull off playing Mr. Sinister. He could play this very determined man who has this commanding yet controlled presence about him. Next, we have Mystique. Now, anyone who knows me knows my gripes with Jennifer Lawrence as Mystique. I feel like she was okay in First Class, but because she was such a popular actress, they geared the storyline more towards her and changed some things with her character, and she became the center focus. And then because of the time she had to spend in makeup, she didn't want to do the role, so that's why she was, spoiler alert, killed off in Dark Phoenix. But I did not like her take on Mystique. I, however, loved Rebecca Romijn as Mystique. I think she brought the sleekness and the sexiness, and she still had depth to her. It wasn't just a pretty body to look at, but there is the sleekness that comes with being Mystique. But seeing her in The Kingsman, I could see Mystique, and that is none other than Sophia Boutella. She was in Star Trek Beyond, Atomic Blonde, The Climax, Hotel Artemis, and unfortunately the 2017 The Mummy. But she definitely has that sleekness to her, and she definitely has the physicality to pull off Mystique in some of the acrobatics that she does. I love how the Fox movies portrayed her fighting style, and I hope the MCU continues that with these future movies. And last but not least, we have Apocalypse. There has been a lot of criticism with Oscar Isaac playing Apocalypse. That was no fault of his own, because we know that he is a great actor. He just wasn't given the best material. I want to see someone who has not only the physical presence of Apocalypse, but has that voice without it having to be altered. And again, I could think of only one person for this role. They definitely have the physique, and they also have this kind of royal grace to them, and that is Christopher Judge. He was in Stargate CG-1, Stargate Atlantis, and he is the latest actor to play Kratos in the God of War series. If you just look at a picture of him, you can see him dressed as Apocalypse, and I think he would do great in this role. So guys, let me know in the comments, who do you want to be in the MCU in the Brotherhood of Mutants? I've gotten some comments on my previous video, people having their own actors and who they would love to see play these roles. So just let me know in the comments in this video. And stay tuned for my other video for my fan casting of Magneto and Professor X. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.